What is a culture? Derived from Latin word cultura, which means to cultivate or cultivating the mind. That is the origin of the word. Now, actually, when the word we use the word culture, we mean culture is the complex whole. It's not single feature. It is made up of several features, which include what is the knowledge level, belief structure, what sort of art is practiced there, what are the moral values, what are the different sets of laws, what sort of languages are spoken, what are the customs and tradition, or any other capabilities acquired by man as a member of the society. So this is generally we mean that the culture of say rural area, culture of the urban area, culture in the west, culture in the eastern countries, culture in the tribal area. That is a set of whole features how the people, what are the beliefs of the people, what are the moral values of the people, what are the custom traditions of the people, what is the way of interacting between the people. Giving you example, giving you an example. In Western world, if a boy or girl comes across an old man or a woman, he would say, "Hi, Mr. John, how are you?" Mr. John is of 80 years old, and that boy is of, say, 10-year old. He would just name him, and I add, "Mr. John, how are you?" Right? But in this part of the country where we are living, our cultural values are what? Our culture is that if a 10-year-old boy comes across, say, even a 50-year or 60-year-old person, he would just say, "Uncle, how are you?" He would, despite the fact he is his neighbor and knows the name, he would not say, "Mr. Rahman, how are you?" No, he would say, "Uncle, how are you?" Now, uncle, it is a different connotation. This is culture. In our society, we have got different culture. In Western society, they have got different culture, meaning by beliefs, traditions, courtesies, they are different, right? Then we move on to a little more about this word culture. Culture refers to the pattern of human activity. If you find a lady is coming to the ATM, for instance, in Pakistan, there are 4 or 5 persons standing, waiting for their turn for ATM, and a lady comes in. No, they would not bother about the turn. They would say, "Please, this is our culture is. This is a lady has come. Without turn, she should be given the chance to go and use the ATM and go away. Old man comes. Similarly, he should be given. But I'm at least what I have heard of, there's no such thing that if a lady comes, if, the other people would say, oh, you can take the turn. They would say, just queue up. In the same queue where the men are standing, you also fall back and stand in the same queue. So culture is represented through the art, literature, costumes, custom, tradition of the community. Culture. It is a culture that ladies would put on a scarf in our part of the world. The same culture is not there in the West, right? And similarly, literature, similarly, art, dancing is considered to be a fine art. But in our part of the world, in some traditions, it is considered to be something not that good. So different cultures exist in different parts of the world. The natural environment greatly affects the lifestyle of the people of that region, thus shaping their culture. And the diversity in the cultures around the world is also a result of the mindsets of the people inhabiting different regions of the world. I remember I was of 10 years old. I went to my village. It's a village, obviously in far-flung rural area. That was a village, and probably I went there for the first time. And as I went in the village, and after sitting for a few minutes, I said that I want to go and see the village alone. I walked out. I was immediately stopped by my elders. They said, "You are going without a headgear. You have got no cap, no pagdi." I said, "I don't have a pagdi or a cap." They said, "Perfectly okay. But you cannot go out in the village bareheaded. Put a towel. Here is a towel. Put a towel on your head and move out, because it is considered to be somebody who is not, somebody shameless who is without a headgear." I'm talking about 50 years ago. Now the cultures keep on changing. Traditions change, as the custom change, as way of living change, so cultures change. Now, same village, everybody is moving around without headgear and no problem. So cultures are different in different parts of the world, and for instance, in the same country, in different parts of the country, the cultures may be different. The diversity in the cultures around the world is also a result of the mindsets of people inhabiting in different. I have said so. Man born in a social group inherits its culture. Why? Well, a very simple step. And normally, the culture, they are inherited. Whatever our forefathers had, whatever our early generation had, that is passed on to the our preceding generation, pass on to the succeeding generations. He has acquired it by self efforts through learning. Obviously, as the man grows and he learns about that, it is culture that differentiate man from the rest of the animals, right? So, language is the chief vehicle by which culture is transmitted. Obviously, if you communicate, you talk to the person. If somebody living in West, that again, I give you the same example: 10-year-old boy coming to Pakistan. Now I remember 2 days ago, one of my nephew who had been living in the West, he came to visit us after 2 3 years. His eldest child was about he was in seventh class. Yes, seventh class. So about 12 years or 13 years. Now, by relationship, I happen to be his grandfather. He's the son of my nephew. So he is unaware of the custom traditions, culture here. So he came down, was sitting there, and the that my nephew told him that, I mentioned that my one of my uncles have a YouTube channel, professional channel. He impulsively replied, "Oh, he's that guy." Well, now my nephew immediately realized that this fellow is, probably not aware of the culture. He said, uh, behave yourself. He's not a guy. He's your dadaji. See that? That is, we consider that was a simple state. This is how they talk about that guy, that guy, that guy. No, no guy system here in this part of the world, right? So what I am telling you, trying to say is that culture is what is culture. Now, after discussing what is culture in general terms, what is organizational culture? Organizational culture is generally understood as all of the company's beliefs, values, and attitudes, and how these influence the behavior of its employees. What I so far talked about was culture of a society, culture in general terms. Now, same word, organizational culture. Why it is being said so? Way of behaving, the set of the moral values, set of the beliefs, the attitudes of the organization, that we call it organizational structure, differ from one organization to another. Just to give you an example, you would understand. That example is, we have got different departments. Different departments, especially the departments in the public sector, they have got some organizational culture for which they are known. Everybody understands that if they came in contact with such staff of such organization, that is going to be their attitude, that is going to be their response, that is the way they are going to react. You walk into some office of a government school or college in Pakistan, and then you walk into the office, some school or college in private sector, good schools, say Beacon House, HSN College, City School, and other. There are other, good school networks. If you move into any of these schools, you would immediately smell out different culture in different institutions. So, and there's a clear difference between the institutions of public sector and the institutions of the private sector. There are two police. I give you an example. Motorway police in Pakistan and the provincial police in Pakistan. I'll not explain, but there's a world of difference between the culture of two police. Both are in uniform, both are police, but the motorway police has got different culture. The provincial police has got different culture. So, organizational cultures really matter. Culture, because culture affect how people experience an organization. That is what it is like for a customer to buy from a company or a supplier to work with it. I'll give you a practical example again. My brother went for PhD in Belgium. He spent 4 years there, and he came back. While he was coming back, he booked different items, electrical items. One of the item was, I'm talking about 30 years ago. 30 years ago. One of the item was that 12-inch TV, 12-inch TV. His main item, electronic items, which he booked in Belgium for Pakistan. He came on, he and his family came by air, and he booked through ships that these items to reach my place. They said, after you're reaching there, within 2 weeks, these items would you would get them. Now, after 2 weeks, this particular item which I'm mentioning is TV 12-inch did not reach Pakistan. He was not disturbed at all. He just wrote a letter to the company which he booked, naming that Philips 12-inch TV, this is the receipt, not received within your given period. Will you believe it? They just sent the price of that TV in dollars within 3 days. And surprisingly, after 7 days, the TV also reached. I am talking about the organizational cultures. These are different organizational cultures. And unfortunately, our export, for instance, we were exporting cotton to some countries, and I was going through the this travel log by a person that in Ankara, in a square on the roadside, there was a huge dump, and in that some stones were lying, and there was a some written banner on it, cotton from Pakistan. What happened? In the cotton bales, which some Pakistani bloody fool must have sent it to Ankara, that within those bales of cotton, those stones were stuffed to increase the weight. Organizational culture I'm talking about. I hope the concept of organizational culture is clear. So organizational culture is what? Organizational culture is evident in the behavior of the individuals and groups. I've given you several examples. So I'll now speed up. Organizational culture is amplified by the behavior of the leaders. Leaders, what leaders normally do, the nation also follows. Organizational cultures embedded in a network of organizational practices. Then organizational cultures are visible in the way that work gets done on a day-to-day basis. An organizational culture, shared beliefs, values, and assumptions held by members of an organization. Now, what is the role of the organizational culture? Provide sense of identity and belonging for an employees. So when we some motorway policeman would show up, you would immediately have a concept about what happens in this part of the organization. And if a provincial police constable shows up, you would immediately have a total different perception of that person. So guides employee behavior. So if that motorway policeman would be behaving, he would always remember that my people behave this way, so I have to behave this way. Helps to shape the organization's climate and atmosphere. Communicates the organization's values to customers and stakeholders. So this I show you again. These were at least four characteristics given here. Provide sense of identity and belonging for employees. Now, on each, there would be one slide. The first one was provides a sense of identity and belonging for employees. And I've already explained, giving you an example. Organizational culture is like a DNA of an organization. You would come to know, oh, he's from motorway police. Well, so no use of giving bribe. He would not accept it. This is, a general impression. This is the DNA of an organization. It gives an employee a clear understanding of who they are working for and what they stand for. So it creates a shared identity among team members. I've explained that. Now, the second is guides employees' behavior. It is an unwritten rule book. Otherwise, both police walas, Punjab police, motorway police, both are not supposed to accept bribe. Both are supposed to be friendly with the general public, right? But I would not further comment anything. The behavior of one institution, one organization of the employees differ from the other one, and you can immediately make out, right? Then helps to shape the organization climate and atmosphere. Now, it's not one person who is not accepting bribe. Majority of them, dominant majority of them, dominant majority of a commercial bank would be courteous, but you go into public sector banks, see the behavior of different staff members, you will feel the difference. So the culture of an organization sets the tone for the work environment. That tone would be throughout. All employees, almost all employees would be behaving in the same way. You move into WAPDA, you move into there are other organizations. There's a climate, there's a culture of that organization. You would feel. We are more concerned with schools. And I have been telling you that you move into any school, at least I can claim that with that long experience behind me, that if I have never seen a school and I just move in the school without anybody, coming in contact with me and talking to me in first 30 seconds, half of a minute, I will let you know what sort of school it is. Just having a look how students are moving from one place to another, how teachers are conducting the classes, what sort of how much silence is there in the atmosphere, is there is a din or noise in the atmosphere, first 30 seconds. So the culture of an organization sets the tone for the work. So a positive culture fosters a pleasant and motivating work environment. The climate and atmosphere directly influence employees' morale, job satisfaction, and productivity. Then community communicates the organization's values to customers and stakeholders. Organizational culture is like the language that the organization speaks. I just to mention you that no staff member has talked to me. I have walked into a school. So far, no staff member have talked to me, not even the receptionist, not even the chokidar. None has talked to me. But the atmosphere would tell you there's something in the climate. You would feel that this sort of institution you are in. So organizational culture is like the language that the organization speaks to the customers, partners, and stakeholders. It reflects the core values and principles that the organization upholds, whether it is a commitment to equality, customer services, or what. Types of organizational culture. The types of organizational cultures: clan, adhocracy, hierarchical, and market. These are four major organizational cultures. Four major organizational cultures. First is clan culture. Clan is a tribe. Why we call it a clan culture? In a clan culture, the organization emphasizes strong relationship, teamwork, and mutual support. We find what we find in a clan. In clan, people in a tribe or a clan, people are together. They feel for one another. They have strong relationship. They do works collectively. They mutually support one another. So, if in an organization you find this sort of relationship, we find here is a clan culture, market culture. Now, in market culture, the word market would give you a hint that in market, money matters. Everything is business like. So, in such organization is centered around external factors such as customers or competitors. They are doing maximum thing for profit maximization. So they take the customers as such as whoever moves into their organization, they would deal him as a customer, and if they expect a good deal from him, they would be obviously very nice to him. So that is the market culture. Then hierarchical culture. Hierarchical culture, if there's an organization where there's a proper, everything is structured, there's proper chain of command. So you are going to one person, he says, sir, this job is to be done by this file is going to go up like that, and he is the competent authority, and then going to come down like that. So everything, everybody knows the channels, everybody knows the job description, everybody knows who is who and who is the competent authority and who is the boss, who is the subordinate. If it is the organization is well structured, that means it has got hierarchical culture. Then ad hoc racy culture. Ad hoc racy is a form of business management that emphasizes individual initiative. Individual initiative. So an ad hoc racy culture encourage innovation, flexibility, and creativity. In this type of culture, well, the members are given the authority to exercise their powers. They use their initiatives. They can use their creativity. It is not stereotyped. You always not look up to your seniors for doing something. The employees are empowered to take risk and think, and then decision making is decentralized. So democracy culture is like this. On just one slide, you can find all these things that on the top left hand corner, this clan culture, and clan culture is more flexible, and it is internal. The people are woven together. Adhocracy, again, there's flexibility, but it is external. External means that they can talk to the customers, take the initiative. They can. There's a decentralization and hierarchy. They are set people. They are not flexible. They are stereotyped, and it is also internal. And then the market culture, that is external as well as stabilized. Summary of all these four culture in one slide. You can see that in clan culture is like being part of a tribe where everyone cares for each other and feels like one big team. In contrast, market culture is like being in a furious competition where everyone is focused on winning and getting ahead. This is market culture. Then the third we talked about was hierarchical culture, where everything is in hierarchy. That is structure, and there's clear chain of command. And then adhocracy is all about innovation and flexibility. This we have already talked about. Now, methods of learning organizational culture, how we can see what is the culture of what is the culture of a particular organization. If you want to see that, then you have to examine them. You have to find the characteristics. What characteristics a particular culture, yeah. For instance, if you have you have been a science student, you carry out a SALT analysis, and in that you find out the different characteristics. Similarly, if you want to find out what sort of organizational culture there is, then there are at least these six, seven characteristics we discuss, and in that the first one was the shared values. That means what are the values, what are the set of values which are practiced in that organization. That we'll see that. Then what are the beliefs, right, wrong, correct, incorrect, good, bad. So beliefs, values, beliefs, assumptions. Again, we all have assumptions. Well, organization do too. Assumption means if you are about to go to say motorway police, what do you expect? We assume that they are not going to. If I have overspeeded, well, I have to right away give them a challan, pay their fine. I assume that they are not going to accept less than that. They are going to be very courteous, but then they are going to be very blunt in that please pay the fine and you may go. Norms. Norms are the unwritten rules. Everyone knows, like the cool stuff everyone does in the group without any talking about it. Then symbols. That means think of these as fun and unique.